Hello, 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 hello. It's Friday. What are you all doing? I got a question. Yeah, this is my segment every month. I go through the messages and I try to look through the messages to see what we have the most questions about and how can I answer them. So, this one is actually not about the month of June. This one's about the month of July. And to help answer this question, we're going to look at the chart and I'll mark it up because it's a kind of complex answer because it's a kind of complex chart. Here we go. First of all, this person said these were some really dumb questions. I'm going to say it again, even though I've said it many times, and maybe I don't say it enough on the channel. First of all, everybody always says there's no such thing as dumb question. That couldn't be more true than it is with astrology. You know what I'm saying? Like astrology is, I often wonder, is this shit purposefully confusing? You know what I'm saying? No, that's just reality. That's just how life works. Life's confusing. It's complex as hell. So it's talking about the full moon in Capricorn, saying, hey, the full moon in Capricorn is at 11 degrees and 18 minutes, right? And then they say, my second house begins in Sagittarius and ends in Capricorn. How many of you can relate to this? You have a house number, you have a house line, whatever. It begins one energy, but then there's another sign in that house. So it ends in a different energy. And it's like, okay, what exactly does that mean, right? So this person says, yeah, it begins in one sign and ends in another. Begins in Sag, ends in Capricorn. But the whole second house is empty in my natal chart. What would that mean? So that's a good question. Like I have two different signs in a house, but there's no planets there. There's no luminaries. There's nothing there. And even if you have one sign in a house and there's no planets there, it's the same question. What does that mean? Right? So it's a great question. So then this person also says, because the new moon that is coming in July, midway through July, right? It's the new moon in Cancer. They're asking a question and they're asking a question without asking a question. They're saying, would that make a difference for me? Or are there other factors at play with this? Because the new moon that is coming in July is a new moon in Cancer, would that make a difference? Or are there other factors in play? Because they're saying, because I think that Saturn rules Capricorn and my natal Saturn is in the 8th house in the sign of Cancer. So there's many pieces to this. And so we're going to go through them one by one. Okay. So we're going to pull up the chart so that you can see this because it will help explain. It will help explain. If I can just pull it up, that would be great. Can we do this today? Yay. We did it. Yeah. All right. All right. So first things we want to do, since we're talking about July, we're going to make the markings for July. So actually, I'm going to go back to my first thought, which was black. So this person's chart, Sagittarius at 22 degrees on the second house cusp line. You see that? That's their second house cusp line, that line that goes all the way through there. The cusp line is the beginning of a house number. Same thing. Okay? 2214. You see that? And then their second house cusp line ends where their third house begins. The second house line ends where the third house cusp begins. Cusp means the beginning of a house. So that would be right there. Yeah. You see? 27 degrees cardinal. And that line goes all the way through there like that, you see? So and for this person's chart, this is the person who made the comment. This is exactly what they said. They're saying Sag begins, which means 8 degrees of Sag in the second house, because we got 30 degrees to a sign and it began at 22. You following me? 22 minus 30 is 8. And then we've got 27 degrees of Capricorn filling up the rest of this house. The rest of this house has 27 degrees of Cap. So they got Sag and Capricorn in their second house. Now, I would understand asking a question like this too, because it's about income and values. It's the second house cusp line, right? So our second house is our moolah. It's how I receive. It's your values, but it's also your love. And so for this individual, it's mixed in the meanings of what this person values, because they have Capricorn there, but they also have Sag there. Now, to answer their question, I got nothing in the second house. So what does this mean? Technically, they do have some objects in this house, but if you were to pull up like a generic astrology chart, you wouldn't see the galactic center and you likely wouldn't see Pallas Athena. But again, I'm a little extreme on the astrology side. I'm an astrology geek. And so I pull up lots of little things. So this person does have the galactic center and their Pallas Athena in the second house. But let's pretend that those aren't there, because that was their question. In their mind, they got nothing in the second. So here's the thing. You pay attention to the sign. And in this person's case, we pay attention to the signs that they have in this house. And I just said earlier, they have Sag and Capricorn in this house. And so what does that mean is sitting here? You then figure out who the ruler is of the sign, the ruler of each of these signs, and you literally put them in this house, like in your mind's eye, or if you printed your chart out on paper, whatever you got to do, you draw those signs in. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Saturn rules Capricorn. You see that? So this is exactly what you do. This is how you figure this stuff out. You look at your chart, you see the signs, and this is saying, hey, I got an empty house. I don't know what the hell this means because it's empty and I don't have anything in it. So what exactly does that mean? And the deal is you go and you find out what is the ruler, because every sign has a ruler. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter looks like a number 4, rules Sagittarius. See that? And Saturn rules Capricorn. Okay, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So now you got to weave in the meanings of Jupiter and Saturn. And when we understand what these two mean, like all the keywords, like literally jot them down on a piece of paper and start creating a sentence. That might seem kind of awkward, but I'm going to give you an example. This is their second house. So this tells me values, who and what I value. Second house is values. So this is money. This can be food. This can be love. And I like lots of it because it's Jupiter. Jupiter says, bring me the money. Jupiter says, bring me the love. Jupiter is always searching and seeking. It adds to things. It's always trying to expand upon whatever it's touching. And what is it touching? This person's second house. Think of second house keywords. What do we think of when we think second house? Well, we got Venus and Taurus, the earth. So Venus likes good things, pretty things, beautiful things. Venus likes peace and harmony. Venus likes good food, smell good, look good, taste good, touch, sensations. That's Venus energy. That's Taurus. Taurus is like, hey man, I want quality. That's Taurus. That's Venus in the second house. Taurus and Venus. And this Jupiter says, Bring me more, bring me more, bring me more, right? That is Jupiter. Bring me more. Because this is how I receive. How I receive. So this can be tricky because it can also be very idealistic. Jupiter, ancient ruler of Pisces, can be extremely idealistic, meaning this person's values and their idea of love, their idea of things being beautiful, peace, and harmony, it would be hard to live up to. So they're going to constantly be on that seeking and searching constantly, going on a journey of some sort. Remember, that's what this is, the astronaut seeking and searching and exploring and relating with other cultures, just with other people, because it wants the truth. It wants the truth. It's seeking to get to the truth. And it can be very spiritual and almost even religious. But in the second house, it's going to say, okay, I value these things. But hell, if we can make some cashola with them, why the hell not? Let's make this happen, baby. Let's do this. This is awesome, right? So it's another way of looking at that, at the basics of the second house energy. Second house basics would be Taurus and Venus. Keywords for Venus and Taurus are interchangeable because Venus rules Taurus. And this is the part where I said, if you like shit to be confusing, or not maybe like, but if you like deep diving, if you like mysteries, if you like following the nuggets and the clues, this is exactly what we're doing. This is how you figure these things out. But that's not all for this person's second house. They've got Saturn there. Holy crap. So it's all these things, but it's also these things. What is Saturn? Structure. It's kind of like an authority figure, so it's quite serious. An individual with Capricorn in their second house, Saturn being the boss, this person's going to be pretty damn serious about their income, pretty damn serious about who and what they value. This person is going to work long and hard to gain long-term, tangible security. Big time. This is a person that says go big when it comes to work and career and establishing the long-term tangible security. Go big or go home. If you're not with me, you're against me because I got places to go and I'm not standing still. Come on, baby, light my fire. That is exactly what happens with, this is like a rocket, man. This is like a rocket going up into the sky. It's taking that next flight up and it's saying, who's on board? I got to go. Very serious energy. This energy, other than being very serious, it may take a long time to unfold because it's Capricorn. And wherever you see Capricorn and Saturn in your chart, think of the word time. It rules time. It's not quick. It's a long period of time. A long period of time. This is across the pond. You got to get in the plane. You got to travel. So when you combine all of this together, there's a very interesting story here. Something that goes back long period of time. Tangible assets. This is Capricorn. It's material. It's buildings. It's long-term structures. It's the sticks and the bricks. Something that's in value. This says masculine energy, possibly paternal possibly, because it's very masculine. Jupiter is also masculine. So it's got a lot of masculine energy here in a feminine household. Number 2, feminine always. But it's got all this masculine energy here. So it's going to work long and hard, likely to be the boss. But because time is a big deal and there's values involved, there could be money or that assets, long-term tangible assets that have been built over a long period of time, possibly as well, because we got Jupiter here. And let's pull back a little bit on this chart. Now that we've answered the question, number 1, which was, What do you do when you got an empty house? You look and see what the ruler of the sign is, right? Now we go across the chart. Cancer energy, right? Cancer energies across the chart. And this person had a specific question about the full moon because they were like, what is the full moon in July going to mean for me? I got nothing at 11 degrees. I got nothing. So let's draw that up real quick. 11 degrees, we're just going to draw that in. It technically is probably going to be about there. Okay. Technically. So let's look across their chart. We're going to move this over to attach that. Let's draw across their chart and see what they have at 11 degrees in Cancer. What do you see? They don't have anything at 11, but look, they've got something at 6, 7. This is technically 9 and 9 degrees because this is 8:52. 9 degrees would mean that's an opposition to the full moon in July. Not just an opposition to the full moon in July, but this is at 9, this is at 7. So this is conjunct this is conjunct this, and vertex is conjunct this. And then, I'm not done yet. And then, this being at 9, by the way, this is Hercules. Hercules is at 9 in the sign of Cancer in the 8th house. History, 8th house, Cancer, feminine energy, can be females, can be women, can be the public. 8th house, history, but like ancestry. Some people say past lives. Some people don't believe in past lives. Heredity, ancestry, right? My ancestors may be a home or homes. There's a lot of interesting energy here, really powerful stuff. Hercules is spirituality. Hercules is all about, I got to go through the struggles. I might make some wrong choices. And at the end of the day, I keep going through all these tests and these challenges. And I eventually learn, and I do things in a way where I realize the real riches, the spiritual riches. And then I get those rewards. Saturn promises rewards. Yes, Saturn promises rewards. So these are all conjunct the opposition. But look, there's more. 13 degrees, 1343. This is also conjunct the opposition to the 11 degrees. So let me go down. Oh, I went too far down, but look at that. So we're going to have the Capricorn full moon here at 11 degrees. When I saw this chart, I tried to answer the question to the subscriber, and I realized it doesn't do it justice. I got to be able to get a reading done, but forgive me, guys. Everything's changed a little bit, and so my recording time has it's been a little it's just changed up a little bit. Okay, and so we're switching things around. So I'm just figuring out what that new routine is going to be. All right. So that's why we haven't discussed the Starry Night Live private lives. I haven't got an official date yet, but I think I'm getting very close. So 11 degrees is right here. Yeah, I'm just going to curve it and then bam. See that? So all of this is part of it. But then look, this Saturn is also going to be part of it because there's so much in the sign of Cancer. Because this person has so much in their sign of Cancer that is a thing, opposing that 11 degrees down there. Even though natally they have nothing here, it will be a full moon, which means the sun will be sitting here. The sun will be sitting here at 11 degrees. And so having the sun sitting right here, bam, at 11, it will trigger all this 8th house stuff for this person, even though it's a Capricorn full moon. Now, what does the full moon mean? A full moon is an ending and a release of some sort. Let's remember, if it's in Capricorn and it's in Saturn, Saturn is about rules and restrictions and structure. So if there was something that was going on, you know, maybe in even an old job or an old boss, possibly. Yep. Could even be a father figure in somebody's life. This person doesn't have anything here at 11. So I don't see this as them necessarily looking at it where it's like, oh, you've got a loss of some sort. It's more of like the abstract energy of my values. What do I value? I value possibly somebody older than me, you know, and I value possibly this, whatever my long term goals and ambitions were. You follow, you know how we have values, but they're here and here, they're in our head and in our heart. I would say that that is closer to it, especially because it's in an opposition to this person's feelings, deep wounds, feelings, emotions. It can open up the doorway for healing, transformations, and healing. There's so much opposing this full moon. It's really quite amazing. And so you see why I'm like, I've got to find a way. I've got to answer this question. Now, to get to the second part of their question, they asked, what about the new moon in Cancer that's coming? Mid-month, it's at 2456 in Cancer. Is this a thing for me? Would this make a difference? Are there factors at play with this? And it's a really good question, again, because they don't have any planets at 2456, which is 25 degrees. Let's just do that right here. Let's do that right here. 25. Oh, we're going to change colors. Okay. Let me go to the blue. So we're going to have a 25 degree. Yeah. It made a raindrop for me. Did you see that? That was kind of cool. A 25 degree new moon. Okay. So at 25, we look in this person's chart. What do you see? I don't see any planets, right? Let's draw a line and take a peek. Where should 25 degrees be? Saturn is the highest thing, but look at their 9th house cusp line. I'm going to draw a blue line. This is their 9th house cusp line. It starts at 27 degrees, which means it's a 2-degree orb from the actual new moon, 25 to 27. This means this person's having a new moon on their 9th house cusp line. 9th house is your beliefs. It is your truth. It is all that stuff I already talked about in Sagittarius. Because Sagittarius and Jupiter, this is their placement, their natural placement. So we talk about the keywords of the 9th house. This is also about my future, the 9th house, my beliefs about my future, the truth about your future. 9th house is traveling, right? Yep. Remember I said getting in a plane and flying could be vacation, but it's definitely traveling. There's a new moon. This person looks like very, very likely could be making a trip. And I think it has a shitload to do with all of this here. That's how this looks. That's how this looks. It really does. Whenever you have a new moon on our 9th house cusp line, this is like, whoa, ancestors. Am I going to be finding out the truth about my ancestors? Like, what happened? This is, it can, again, feelings and family, mother energy, mother wound. What wounds are there in the family? What feminine wounds are there? This is my tribe. Maybe there are people that you've aligned with that you kind of, you're not blood relatives, but they feel like your tribe. That's Cancer energy. We vibe emotionally. Our energetics line up in a way where we understand each other, where we are just, we just connect. We connect because there's soul history and soul memory there. That's Cancer energy, highly empathic. So we just have an understanding like I never met you, but there's just some strange thing right? When we meet people and we're like, God, I feel like I've known this person. I feel like I've met them before, or I feel like I've known them my whole life, or I just, I don't know why. I just feel like I could finish their sentences or they could finish mine. And we understand each other, right? And that's Cancer energy has to do with the history and the past. Okay. And so definitely some soulful stuff going on, especially since this person has so much Cancer in the eighth house of soul's history, of things from the past and deep energetic wounds, usually some tragic stuff, usually tragic stuff. Absolutely. Really powerful time. And so I would say to this person, this is a big deal for you. Absolutely. But you have a chart where at first glance, it's like, no, not a damn thing here. Not at all. And then even if you started digging into it, you're like, what else does this mean? When I showed you about the Jupiter and the Saturn thing, it doesn't look, at that point, you start telling the story, you start thinking about the keywords for Jupiter of traveling, going overseas, my beliefs about my future, spirituality and religion, possibly even somebody who was persecuted for their religious beliefs. Hello, Cancer energy in the ninth house, but most of it in the eighth house. Tragedy, tragic shit, the eighth house. Women, really? Shocking, right? But there were restrictions. There were restrictions. You see, this person has Saturn. That's what the reference they made, that I have Saturn in my eighth house in the sign of Cancer. And so that Saturn has a lot to do with the Saturn down here. Because not only do we put Saturn here, but then we find out where this person's natal Saturn is. And it's in the sign of Cancer. And this person already knew to do that. They had commented and said, yeah, my Saturn's up there. And that's why they mentioned it. So you see how it's intimately connected? That Saturn is so totally connected to this Capricorn energy. And so is your Saturn in your chart, by the way. Whoever you are watching this video, you could do the very same thing. Wherever you have Capricorn energy, go find your natal Saturn and draw a line showing that they are connected and they are always communicating, regardless of the season, regardless of what sort of other energetic stuff is going on. Those two are always have a direct line of communication to each other. So there's something about this direct line of communication to the past for this person, and likely some tragic wounds and definitely restrictions, because it goes back to restrictions. Saturn, there was some sort of a restriction of some sort of work, some sort of an authority person, or like it's rules and regulations, man. We got rules and regulations. And I'm not saying it that way, like, what the hell? It's just, when we live within society, we have to follow the rules and regulations, the law of the land. That's why we choose to live here, not in the middle of a wherever where there are no rules, right? But either way, these two are definitely connected, intimately connected at that. Now, let me reread this comment to make sure that I'm on the ball here. The whole second house is empty in my natal. What would that mean? We've connected it, but we didn't connect everything, right? Now what we want to do is also understand, because we see how this Saturn energy is connected to the Capricorn energy, but what else? What rules Cancer energy? What rules the sign of Cancer? The moon. The moon. So we have to go look at this person's moon and look where it is. Their moon is in Scorpio. It reinforces the theme of tragic stuff that happened. It's the moon in Scorpio. Women, feminine energy, family, ancestry, tragic shit, stuff from the past. Definitely overseas, definitely far from where I am. This is far from where you are. You can't even see it. This could even speak to a home that is far away, a mother that is far away, because moon is mom, right? 12th house, far away. I can't see this person. They've disappeared. Yeah, there's some deep stuff here. deep, deep, deep stuff. So let's draw that line again. Same thing. We're going to draw another line of connection to Cancer energy and the moon. They are intimately connected. They are always talking. And so we also have to weave it in here. So there's just this unbelievable amount of responsibility and duty, which is Capricorn energy, which is also Saturn. Keywords all the same: duty, responsibility. I've got to work. I've got this thing I'm carrying. Remember, picture Atlas in the Greek mythology with the holding the world on his shoulder, on his back, and he was like hunched over because it was so heavy. But Atlas didn't complain. Atlas did what Atlas had to do because it was the responsibility and the duties. Let me turn the volume down on this. I didn't realize this was up. So, family, something with family, some sort of duty and responsibility, some sort of restrictions, feminine energy, and tragic stuff. Because look, the Scorpio energy right here is also the 8th house. So it reinforces the same themes. It's mutual receptivity. This person is unbelievably psychic and empathic because they got Cancer in the 8th and they've got their moon in Scorpio in the 12th. Holy shit, it's all connected. Remember Jupiter, the ancient ruler of Pisces, 12th house. Do you see how these houses are really crazy connected for this person? So when this person asked this question and I started looking at their chart, I was like, oh damn, this is so intertwined and weaved together that it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So let me use a color here to kind of highlight the houses again. So it's going to be house number 8. You probably can't see this. Oh, it showed up as a different color. We're going to go black. Why the hell not? So it's going to be house number 8 and part of house number 9 because that cusp line is going to be there. And then house number 12. And then, of course, the house number 2. So think about this now. What else should we be looking at, you think? Well, I think we got to go and look at Neptune because we're talking about house number 12. And in this person's chart, if we look for their planet Neptune, what's so interesting is it's in their first house. You see that? And it's in Jupiter. Again, Jupiter comes up again. Neptune comes up again. Neptune rules the 12th house. Neptune rules Pisces. So this is like confusing. This is dreamy. This is fantasy. This is, again, my beliefs. And this is about myself and my appearance, possibly. This can be a person who might look different because it's Neptune in Sagittarius. Sagittarius looks like the traveler, the world traveler. But if Neptune is there, there might even be something a little flamboyant, maybe flamboyant, but very colorful, very, I would say dynamic because it's in fire, but it's theatrical, very theatrical in appearance for sure. And sometimes when we see that, we're like, oh my God, is that person like a movie star? Are they royalty? Like, who is that person? Right. And all that is also the 12th house. It's all the 12th house themes. And so it's also all the Pisces themes. And look at Pisces, 4th house of home and family, overseas, family from overseas, dreamy also. Dreamy, fantasy, sci-fi, theatrical, and look, there's their Jupiter right there in Pisces. So this is all amazingly connected in their chart. Houses 2, 4, 8, and 12. All this is because of this new moon and full moon for this month of July for this person. It is very complicated, but they have all these water houses set up where they're trining. So this is a big benefit, right? Your 8th house trines the 12th house, and the 8th house trines the 4th house, and the 4th house trines the 12th, right? Lots of beneficial trine energy. Yeah, I almost kind of want to leave that solid. Beneficial trine energy. And the second house is kind of where it all begins. Even though this person doesn't have anything here, they have Jupiter and Saturn. And so if you look at the rest of their chart, the Jupiter in their natal chart tells a story about my home, the fourth house, maybe something being dreamy or fantastical, maybe something being overseas. Look at this. Even Juno was connected at 15 degrees to the Pisces energy, right? Fantasy, mom, kumbaya, spiritual. Think of all the Pisces key words of surrender and prayer, Christ consciousness energy. It's really, really beautiful. But because Jupiter's here and traveling is a big deal. And beliefs. Remember, Jupiter's also the beliefs, and it has to do with prophecy in my future. The Yeah, like if I could just talk all night about this person's chart in terms of all that, and I'm not going to go any further because again, I could talk all night, and I couldn't say more. I would just keep on being talking, and it's saying the same damn thing. Is my point. It says the same thing. So there's a lot of things, a lot of points in their chart. The planets all reinforce, even though this second house doesn't have much of a story. When we follow the energy of Saturn and Jupiter for this chart, we see the rest of the story. So it's very misleading. It's almost like it's like absolutely a treasure hunt, because we're looking like, hey, there's nothing here, right? It's like it's a red herring. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Uh, yeah, it's like a secret, a big time secret of there's nothing there. Remember, Pisces is the veil. Jupiter rules, ancient ruler of Pisces, the veil, right? There's nothing here. It's a nothing burger, as they call it. But there is, because we were able to follow the story by looking at this person's natal Saturn and also their natal Jupiter, their Cancer energy. The moon in their 12th reinforces Jupiter again, traveling all over the chart again, right? And something with the wounds and the tragic stuff with Scorpio and the hurts. It's almost like there's a possibility for healing, an ancestral healing here. I would say so. Feminine energy is quite prominent, but because Saturn keeps showing up at both ends, it's masculine energy too. Again, some sort of a restriction was put in, maybe by males, right? There could be something here, some sort of rules of the land. It's really powerful. And the end of the day, yeah, looks like there's traveling coming. And definitely some stuff going on with the future for sure, because we have all the Leo stuff right now. Venus and Mars going through Leo energy. And so to me, hold on to your purse, hold on to your passport, hold on to your whatever. Like, ninth house is traveling and getting in the plane and taking a ride. So this was a very complex chart, but when you break it down energetically, piece by piece, it truly tells a story. It's a beautiful story because it's showing that there's a great possibility for healing. And that's your July energy, a deep dive to help you to figure this out, because yeah, it's complex. And without divulging more information than I need to, right? Hopefully you understood it. Hopefully I didn't give away anything. And thank you for the question, because your chart was a really wonderful example to help others see in their own chart how complicated astrology can be. And if you take it apart piece by piece and you have the patience, you really start to see the story emerge. So it's beautiful. And I'm really happy for you, because the healing possibilities are there. And just expect that your beliefs Absolutely. Every time you see Jupiter in your chart, and you've got it in a lot of different places, it's with Pisces a lot in your chart, right? Jupiter and yeah, you've got that mixture all throughout your chart, that theme of the spirit of the real riches, right? And because you've got the galactic center in your second house, even though in your chart you may not see it, but I pointed that out and I didn't go into the depth of that at all. I didn't even mention it, matter of fact, and I won't show it again, but it is there. The galactic center is a point of extreme needs. It's a black hole. And what does a black hole do? It sucks in everything around it. And the fact that Jupiter is there too, so it can be very idealistic. You've got a double whammy on how what it is that you value and who that you value. It might be overly idealistic. It might be. I'm not telling you that it is, but if you find that you're usually disappointed or let down, you might have to come down a couple of notches because you've got it reinforced in multiple places in your chart. You see? And so that just means my ideal, nobody else can live up to it. It's a possibility. Okay. So once you see that you got that galactic center there, that point of extreme need, and it truly believes that it knows what the truth is, but we always have to take it down a notch. We always have to take it down a notch because it's in an intense place. Second house is desires. The second house is the house of desires. And when we have those strong desires, whoo, it can be, it overrides sometimes. It can override our thinking and our logic. Although you've got some of that strong energy, you've got a lot of Virgo in your chart. So I hope this helped. If you got any more questions about this chart, because you know who you are, let me know. And even if this wasn't your chart and you have questions because you've got a chart and you're like, damn, that's kind of like my chart, even though it could be completely different than your chart, there can be some similar things I talked about and showed as far as following the energetic breadcrumb trail where you're like, okay, wait a minute, I can connect some dots with my chart. And so please ask all the questions you like. It's fine. It's welcomed. And we use the comments under the videos to provide a learning experience for everybody involved. You see? So if you just kind of email me your question, then others can't hear your email or they can't hear your question, I should say. But this person, yeah, this is a chart that had to be done with the video because you saw there was just so much. There was so much. So I hope that helps, and you let me know because I want to hear how this turns out. I mean, like I'm invested now. Now I am invested my time, and now I'm like, man, I'm excited about this. Like there's opportunity for a lot of beautiful healing, and it's deep. And man, like that's powerful. That's powerful. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.